Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the 2015 Mid-Season Invitational, coming to you live from the campus of Florida State University here in Tallahassee. And what a matchup we've got coming your way. SKT versus EDG, the only two teams left that are undefeated right here at day one. And let's start by zooming in on the mid lane matchup. Pawn and SKT running Easy Hoon for this matchup. Why do you think they went for that, and how do you think it's going to turn out?
I think that one of my big questions coming into this tournament, after looking at a lot of the finals and the post-Cinderhulk changes in China, was what is Pawn's champion pool going to be? Because he's playing a lot of low wave clear champions like Kassadin, like Fizz. Now we saw his Cassiopeia earlier today, but if we look at Easy Hoon's champion pool, he's, in my opinion, the better Cassiopeia player, the better Azir player when compared to Faker. And these are really, really big picks for SK Telecom in the meta.
And even if we're just comparing Cassiopeia players in this game, I feel like Easy Hoon's a better Cassiopeia than we saw from Pawn. And honestly, this is also a team fight, and by a result, a dragon fight meta right here, and SKT controls that more than anything. It's no surprise here that they've subbed in Easy Hoon because he's a better Azir and Cassiopeia player, and I think that translates very quickly into the dragon fights that we're going to see a lot of this game.
Yeah, and mentioning the subs, Easy Hoon, but they also brought Bengi here. How much of a factor will he be knowing that they have good dragon control? And on the other hand, Clearlove, also Solov's coming into this one.
This is a really interesting thing because I think Sejuani becomes an incredibly important pick. I also wonder how important the Rek'Sai is going to be for Bengi, or if it's going to be ineffective when we actually get to see the clash of repeated team fights. I mean, there's one thing to have Tremor Sense around Dragon Pit for Bengi, but it's another thing to have Clearlove on Sejuani. Whether or not those are targeted picks or bans, I think have a pretty big sway on this game.
Yeah, and I think if you're SKT, you go ahead and ban the Sejuani here. You really don't want Clearlove having that. It really hasn't been a power pick for Bengi. He's a lot better on Rek'Sai and Nunu, generally speaking. So go that route instead. Ban the Gnar, I think, and ban the Sejuani. Because if you look at a lot of the playoff games from EDG, when they weren't playing these big Wombo hard CC compositions, when they tried to play Juggernaut, when they tried to play poke comps, they looked a lot weaker. So why not try and force them out of their comfort zone and play a different kind of game?
Yeah, and final thought, maybe you mentioned the Gnar already. The Marin versus Koro matchup is also huge in this one. What do you think they're going to end up with, and are they going to get their hands on Gnar at all?
Well, this is crazy. So Koro for Gnar, but then also Marin for Maokai.
Yeah.
Something that's been a little bit outside of norm for this tournament so far in particular is the gross amount of farm the top laners are actually getting. We're seeing a lot of standard lanes. If we're seeing a lane swap, they're not denying the top lane farm, and that sets up these miraculously good top laners in Koro and Marin in order to carry. So I actually feel like the Gnars and the Hekrims and the Rumbles are maybe even higher priority than the Maokai if we're going to see the current trends hold.
Yeah, and even so, yeah, we hit these more high damage top laners, generally speaking. But just in terms of the records too, Marin comes into this 13-1 all-time on Maokai. Koro comes into this 19-1 all-time on Gnar. So these have been power picks for these players. They are specialists in this area. Will either of them get these picks? I'm not entirely sure.
Some of these records are going to break too. We're only 6 games in.
Yep.
These are the only 2 undefeated teams left at MSI.
Yeah, absolutely. What a matchup it is. We're going to send it over to casters in just a little bit, but on the way, Pawn tells us about moving to the Chinese team and playing against a Korean team here at MSI.
작년에는 삼성 화이트 팀으로 출전했었는데 이번에는 한국 대표가 아닌 중국 대표로 출전하다 보니까 좀 색다른 느낌이 있는 것 같기도 하고 한국 팀하고 붙어야 된다는 게 좀 흥미로운 것 같아요.
And EDG now having to play against, well, sort of Pawn a little bit confused because now against his comrades, but from a different region. It's a little bit confusing there, but let's check out the starting lineups, ladies and gentlemen. On the blue side, it's SKT with Marin in the top lane, Bengi there in the jungle, Easy Hoon in the mid lane this time, and Bang & Wolf in AD carry and support.
And on the red side is Edward Gaming here in this one. Koro one in the top lane, Clearlove in the jungle, Pawn in mid, Def on AD carry, and Mako on support.
And Pawn said he was excited for this matchup. Everybody is extra. This is the matchup.
Yeah.
We finally get to see #1 China versus #1 Korea. Everybody has been wanting a taste of this matchup ever since so much of the top Korean talent left Korea to go play for China, and they've had so many games in the last split to play with these players and incorporate them. Finally, we get to have this taste of the #1 China versus #1 Korea. Yes, it's just one game, and it's just group stages, but yes, you could say we're excited to say the least.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe a little bit excited.
It is absolutely exciting, and I know you've cast the region a whole lot, Max, but EDG, I'm so impressed by their ability to have actually come together as a team. They're playing multiple languages. They type flash timers in English and in-game chat. Their ability to actually jump on the same target in team fights at a moment's notice is actually incredibly impressive. So these players have actually done, as you're mentioning, Kobe, come together so well as a team overall. SK Telecom T1, of course, becoming again the kings of Korea, and as we go on a champion select, we're going to see which team comes out on top, at least in this game.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about EDG as well is this was from the very start of the split. This team looked unbelievable from the word go as well. So actually they're looking a little bit shakier here towards the end. 5.7, not quite the EDG patch that maybe the 5.4s were towards the middle of the season, but we'll see how they go, because of course it has been word on the street that they haven't got quite as much practice as EDG otherwise would have liked before the playoff finals of the LPL. But maybe leading into MSI now, and we saw before against AHQ, a team that can take a game off Fnatic in pretty commanding fashion, looking pretty good. But let's get back into Champs Select.
I was jumping on my shoes here. Kalista was left up. Really quick locking here. First pick for SKT, and he can combo that still with an up. Thresh already being moused over. Even if Thresh is taken off the board, though, there are still plenty of other good combos. Kennen also still available, but man, the picks coming in very quick. They're taking away the Lulu from Faker very early on as well. Excuse me, Faker's not in the game. Just kidding. Faker's out of the game. Easy Hoon.
Easy Hoon, though, still a very good Lulu, but he can go right back onto Ziggs. I think that's what's next for him with the Cassiopeia and Azir removed from the table. Edward Gaming trying to drop off these team fight mages, but there's actually a lot left here. SK Telecom should be happy to just put Ziggs in the same place.
I'm so surprised with the Gragas ban. You give away Kalista for that. You also give away Rek'Sai. You didn't take that in the first round. The early stages here, as far as the team comp, I'm feeling very good about SKT.
Yeah, picking away the... Oh, well, I guess they didn't need to. Thresh was already locked in here. Koro, though, he might get his Gnar. He's 14-1 on this champion this season. Koro's Gnar is probably one of the best in the world.
Marin definitely expecting the Gnar pick here, as seeing as how SKT have not prioritized it at all.
So you're saying that's a top lane Annie, kind of like what Lupa thinks is the counter pick to Gnar?
I mean, it hasn't worked yet in China, but
no, it hasn't. It certainly hasn't.
Well, Sejuani either way does get to come through for Clear Love, so he's not receiving many bans and he gets whatever he wants, and that's actually, I guess, yeah, they banned away the Gragas, but yeah, the Sejuani, a very big deal for Clear Love. Team fight power is here. I think we really expect that Lulu to go mid. It's just not Koro's style here. SK Telecom now to make their last few choices, and so far it's the ability to engage fights very hard, and the question is how much follow-up is there. I still do want to see Ziggs myself.
Yeah, I mean, EDG have locked in a lot of safety here for themselves. Very beefy team so far. A good front line is exactly what you want against Annie. Try and make her engage that much more difficult. Have some big bodies to block her flash engage. But with Kalista, that's ridiculously hard.
And SK Telecom actually going for a pretty squishy lineup here as well, wanting to go for a whole lot of damage. The double AP comp coming through, but so much persistent damage. And we saw Marin's Rumble. This guy is a god on that champion, and the area of effect damage is ridiculous, provided that Annie can get a stun down.
I actually really like the double locking here for SKT for the double AP, because Vladimir can be a very hard to push out of lane. So Easy Hoon can be a very strong point there, just sustaining over and over. And Kalista brings so much pressure to the bottom lane that if you get a Rumble to level 6 and force something in bottom lane, which is almost guaranteed because you have Kalista Annie, SKT can make those early moves.
By the way.
Can roll, well then, can roll that into the early dragons and try and chain them. Interesting Tristana here from Def, though.
This is very strange. So SK Telecom, yeah, as you mentioned, low durability, incredibly high damage team composition. When fights start, they're going to end almost right away. Edward Gaming actually lacking very heavily in terms of team fight actual damage output. Tristana actually not a very high damage AD carry. Gnar, kind of mediocre. Lulu pretty low overall, but it's a bunch of really strong lanes for Edward Gaming and a lot of early push pressure available.
Right, I feel like what they're going for here is to try and avoid the fights for the dragon, and it's going to be hard, but try and avoid the Kalista Annie engage and go for turret pushing. It looks like EDG want to shove down outer turrets and trade objectives early on rather than fight the fight that SKT wants to take. Don't want to fight that Rumble early on, don't want to fight the Kalista Annie combo, so they're going to try and gain their gold by trading objectives, using the Tristana very quickly push down turrets.
Yeah, they need to get in and get out here as well because they cannot stand around for a fight because they've got Hemoplague and Equalizer to just completely zone them out of everything.
Right, and that's the problem, is that there's a little bit of a mismatch here in the jungle, and that Bengi does get the Rek'Sai. He does get an early aggressive champion, so that when you see Edward Gaming pushing in for all these fights, they can't get caught.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But it's time to head over to your Twitter and share your game predictions. Tweet the hashtag SKTWin or hashtag EDGWin to @LOL Esports, and we'll be checking shortly to see how you're calling this game. And man, I don't know what to expect from this one because I don't know. I'm just excited to see what's going to happen.
Well,
Tristana in the hands of Deft.
True. Another thing to keep your eyes on, though, for this game is oftentimes Rek'Sai's dragon pressure is really underrated. Not only can she do it by herself if you leave that dragon unwarded, but also you can make cross-map plays and answer, the strategy of trying to trade objectives and quickly shove because she has that global ultimate.
And you can track anyone coming towards that Dragon Pit as well with the Tremor Sense. It's really, really strong there as Bengi going to get a ward destroyed by EDG. The 5-man stack, and they're not stopping. Sentinel as well, more money. This is working out for EDG.
20 gold right away for Edward Gaming. They are definitely winning so far in the early game.
If only Koro had a Spell Thief's Edge, that would have been even more money. Oh, true. Oh, they kill another ward. That is 3 of them taken down. SKT, though, they're looking to set something up. EDG still very deep here. See whether SKT can go for the pincer move that they're potentially looking for. There is a ward in that brush, though.
Annie has also started the W to charge up the stun. So SKT very ready for this early fight. And they're going to force... Ooh, they're going to chase him out.
They're looking for it. Actually, Annie's waiting behind here. Is EDG going to get Marin just trying to flame set the flash into the stun here as well as the flame came through, but not going to quite find too much.
It is going to force bad recalls for Edward Gaming. Minions have already spawned, and Mako, I guess he can survive for now. He doesn't really need a health bar right now. And Clearlove got away without taking too much damage himself, so I think life is still good. However, Clearlove had to start Arctic Assault, so the Q for Sejuani going to make it a bit of a slower jungle clear. He's going to require a pretty heavy leash.
Yeah, gets the leash though, so it is probably going to be fine there, but it is going to mean that the lane swap is answered very easily by SKT.
Alright, so 2-on-2 matchup is the goal. Early teleport Marin, realizing he needs to get into that one-on-one right away. You should never waste any time when you realize the one-on-one lane down there. And he goes to get a little bit of early experience and gold for himself.
Yeah, it also means that, both duo lanes showing up top really early on and sticking around for that fight.
Ooh.
SKT do have the 2 versus 2. Clearlove, though,
Because Wolf.
2 gank. Oh,
Level 1 rocket
jump. Aggressive play. Beautiful play back here as well. Wolf going down solo. He's burning first blood for Deft as Bang trying to get some damage back, but a level 1 Callista.
Careful. You can rocket jump back in.
Another rocket jump gets a flash. Bang is going to be okay, though.
Again, return to the flashless lane early on here with Sejuani. Clearlove with the level 2 Sejuani gank, able to capitalize, take
How
down
many
the
times
first
have you
blood.
said that? Level 2 Sejuani gang.
This is the first.
All right, Bengi, though, making his own way to the bottom side. Now, the only flash missing for Edward Gaming is that Thrash. Mako's already recalled to get like 1.5 million wards, so I think ganks from Bengi unlikely. He does, however, make the very smart choice of running to the bot lane, beelining it down there, and I don't know if Mako's going to check this to stop the blue buff steal.
Yeah, it is coming through now as Marin continuing to push here on the bottom side. Mako is going to discover the blue buff being taken, and Bengi took a little while to try and get that one down, and he is going to protect it.
Well, Bengi started on the very left-hand side of the map. Smart choice to try to steal the blue, but Mako there in time.
So slow, though, and they waste so much more time. Not only did Clearlove get off the first gank, but he's ahead in levels as well, able to quickly get back into the jungle that was just protected for him and continue farming. Bengi behind on Rek'Sai right now.
And Toro had teleport.
Wow. And Koro just is going to pick up that entire wave here as well.
Oh, wow.
Bengi just lost the last, almost 2 minutes of jungle time here. He's not going to be able to get this. The strong side invade here from Mako. EDG with a huge early game. Oh, he doesn't have...
Yeah, Bengi actually going to pick that one up here as Marin's going to come through as well. Clearlove trying to get the damage down, but Wolf coming through with a stun up. EasyHoon flashes forward. Mako so incredibly low. EasyHoon's going to pull onto Deft. Rocket jump going to be used. Dragon just going to get a bit upset at the EDG members. That is the first time I've seen a flash pull for CC. That is epic from EasyHoon.
Clearlove did not have the smite for the quick steal away with that red. That was the changing factor there for Bengi. That was the lifesaver. Bengi, because he had waited so long, did have his smite back up, and a good collapse here from SKT.
But the problem is, kill or not, Koro had already TP'd to the top lane, cleared a bunch of waves, and Marin only now is walking back up that lane. So a gigantic minion lead, level lead here for Koro in the top lane. An isolated matchup way up there with all this pressure down here. I don't expect jungle ganks. That's going to be a difficult matchup for Marin.
Yeah, and EDG have already decided that they're going heavily investing in this early game. They've got double Dorans on 3 members of their team. Even Koro in the top lane there on Naya, double Doran's Blade. I don't care, I want to wreck this early game.
It's all, it makes sense, right? The builds make sense after the champion select. Laning phase of extreme importance for Edward Gaming.
Yeah, so it's not quite as bad as it looked with that giant wave up there, just because Marin did get the last hit on the kill, so he at least got that money. So he is going to be at an experience disadvantage for a bit longer, but it's not quite as bad as level 5 Gnar, 33 CS versus this level 3 Rumble here. But that is a very swingy matchup. This is a very skill-based matchup between Gnar and Rumble. And just the smallest of leads is going to mean a big difference, because Koro is going to be able to rush into that Hex Drinker very quickly now and be able to bully the lane back.
But as you can see, EDG losing this 2v2 matchup super hard there on the bottom side of the map. Double the CS almost here for Bang. As Wolf, he just needs too much respect for that stun. There was too much damage possibility there, as Bengi looking to try and come in for something. He's just wandering around here on the bottom side of the map.
Whether it's Lee Sin or Rek'Sai. All right, they found it.
The wards keep coming back down. Edward Gaming get a little bit of time to farm back up, but it is a 13 minion deficit as the lane resets. Definitely far back.
Yeah, he's struggling here in this matchup so far. We'll see. They obviously had a plan. This is a last pick Tristana. And we've seen it before. We've seen Tristana's picked up in response to Kallista's. We haven't necessarily seen it be obviously successful in any particular way over in the LPL, but we'll see whether it is going to work out this time. So far, not going so well though, as SKT just really, really strong. And the Kallista is something that EDG have been known to ban away from everyone, and so far just haven't really decided to.
Well, the question is if they respected Bang's Kallista enough, and so far they haven't. Bang doing an amazing job continually in this lane, and the health bars are just so low that Thresh would normally want to play a little bit aggressive against Annie, tank the stun, and then go for a flay play, but that just can't happen here, so Edward Gaming can't even play the lane matchup the way they would want to.
Meanwhile, though, Bengi making an early move up top. Ooh, he uses
there's
the
a flash knock up there as well, as there is the equalizer. So good at it is Marin, and Koro tries to bounce away. Ziv impression not working this time.
The small little takeaway there for Koro is that his teleport's just about to come back off of cooldown. The thing is, though, that SKT already have the stronger bottom lane foothold, so that early dragon grouping that we prefaced could still very well be on the table for SKT, even though they burned Rumble Ultimate. Koro has to decide between walking back the lane and losing double minion waves and saving his teleport for it, or using it back. So there it is, it's blown.
Yeah, TP's back into that lane, of course. Does have a CS advantage here still. This is sort of what EDG have sacrificed. They've sacrificed the bottom lane to try and get Koro an advantage. It does make sense. Of course, Koro's not fantastic. He did almost hard carry their last game on the Hecarim, but it is a different experience now. We'll see whether EDG can make this comp work. They're looking to make a play on the Dragon.
Ooh, and it's right off the recall timing of Bang and Wolf, but spotted out by the Spectre. Seems like that's not going to happen. Edward Gaming unable to really do much. They had a free lane off of this BF sword recall, and all they will do is clear a wave, clear a couple of Sentinels, and overall SK Telecom looking very good in this Battle of the Titans.
Actually, they're also able to sneak in a recall for EasyHoon here as well. So SKT able to get the purchases, very, very key purchases. Vladimir now at that extremely annoying sustain level in the mid lane. A couple more levels and he'll have the max transfusion with already the spell vamp. So EasyHoon will become that immovable object in the mid lane.
Yeah, he's so close to that Will of the Ancients there as well, so looking to be able to make a play. Of course, very even in the mid lane so far, but no action going to be happening. Of course, a Lulu lane, probably not exactly a high-pressure solo kill lane.
They saw him move.
And Clear Love has been discovered in his jungle.
Wanting to take advantage of the level 6 here, spike from Sejuani.
Good by
Very
Banky,
powerful
the
in
counter
the
game.
2 versus 2.
flat
Rage
sound of
bar
Marin.
charging up.
There we go. Mega Bar's almost there. Clearlove does have the ulti. Marin's not going to be able to dodge this. Puts the equalizer down, stunned to the wall. Banky actually takes the glacial attack, but it's still going to be a kill picked up by Clearlove. Koro chased out by Banky, but not enough damage from the Cinder Hulk Rek'Sai. Means a kill still comes through to Edward Gaming.
Yeah, and Marin knew that was coming as well, but didn't react.
He thought they could counter gank it.
Trying to
Wrong.
get that counter gank. Yeah, I don't think he respected the Gnar ultimate there. Really good job by Koro jumping in and grabbing it. Meanwhile, bottom lane though, left unattended. When both junglers show on the opposite side of the map, it's good. Oh,
This is a very good hook, but the TP's already there.
It's a nice buster shot here as well as Defty's
Oh!
as Marin comes through with a beautiful teleport.
he ran back towards the lantern to try and grab it.
He could have just walked back. Big misplay there. Amazing stun comes out from Wolf to make sure that he gets killed for it. Well played, SKT. More advantages coming into the blue team.
And that's exactly what I talk about when it's pretty much a guaranteed engage when you have the Callista Annie bottom lane. It doesn't even matter if Rumber has his ultimate or not. Teleports right in. There's the exact fight we were talking about for bottom. That should translate into the early dragon for SKT. Check, check, check for early game.
Yeah, and Bang's going to have the rend as well. Barely even needs to have smite as Bengi is Bang able to just to eat that one down. Bengi is going to secure it in the end though, and EDG, nothing they can do. First dragon going down for SKT, and
Over the wall.
oh, actually gets pulled over the wall there as well as Clearlove was tried to be pulled in, but the flash over from Wolf is going to save him.
Definitely a bonus whenever you can blow the anti-flash though, especially at this stage of the game, before he's been able to even upgrade his boots close to getting distortion.
Clearlove, meanwhile, able to continue clearing this jungle. Things calming down just a little bit. He's going to be deft, trying to find farm where he can. Still 33 CS behind, but it was moving towards that 50 mark. It was looking very dangerous on this bottom side, and Deft now wanting to sort something out, but it's Pickaxe Avarice Blade versus BF Sword Zerka's Greaves. That's just, that lane's done.
I go back to the beginning of Champions League. I was so ridiculously surprised that EDG did not ban Callista. They always...
Yeah, they normally do.
They banned it away from Imp every single game in the final, and they won that one. Edward Gaming saying, you know what, Bang, you're not Imp. We'll let you play it.
Yeah.
Ends up being the wrong choice so far.
Maybe if they play SKT again, they won't do that. Maybe. But, of course, the lead continuing here for Bang in the bottom side. Koro does have an advantage here on the top, but this is Rumble. He doesn't mind. He's hit his mid-game power spike.
Yeah, Bang probably not going to hit this turret at all and let it kill as many minions as possible. EDG have tried to leave the area where they know that they're at a guaranteed disadvantage. Never mind, he's just going to finish it off anyway and try and hard shove to the second turret to get that wave all the way into the second turret. But EDG, they did a good job. They left the bleeding, and they tried to move up to trade objectives like what we said we were looking for.
And SKT's not being stopped as well. Bang and Wolf are still knocking these minions down. It's BF Sword, Zerka Greaves, and a longsword on Callista. This turret still has no defense. Koro, I don't even think he'll get there before this turret falls.
Yeah, Marin is actually doing the same thing on the bottom side of the map, though, as Clearlove's hanging around as well. EDG, they might be able to trade these inner turrets. And when you're behind, I mean, I guess if you're going to go even trade, it's actually working out for you.
This is exactly what you have to do in League of Legends. As we said in Champion Select, when you
Kill
have
turrets?
a disadvantage, well, to kill Nexus, I guess, technically. But when you have a disadvantage on one side of the map, try and trade objectives rather than waiting around and watching and slowly losing that map control. So they're trying to get some global gold back on the other side, but SKT can continue to deep ward on that side and continue to chain those dragons, try and force EDG to walk through those jungle corridors where Marin can have the highest impact. If you go get stuck in one of those corridors for a second, the Callista Annie will make you stick there, the Vladimir Rumble combo will destroy your entire team.
Yeah, and that's not good, having your entire team destroyed.
No, it's really not. And SK Telecom, despite having this lower wave clear team, Marin used his ultimate, the Equalizer, to clear one of those top lane waves. Top lane tier 2 was not killed by Edward Gaming. It ended up being a 2-for-1 turret trade overall. Bigger lead for SKT as this game goes on. Marin's ult just about back up. He's got the Magic Pen build there as well. Bang's coming to this side of the map to knock down more outer turrets. SKT playing the Battering Ram AD carry quite well.
Yeah, and though we haven't really revisited Easyhoon, this Vladimir, as I said, this immovable object constantly shoving waves so quickly, that's the reason that EDG could not rotate Pawn, their main wave clear, over to try and stop some of this hard pushing. Because there's so much pressure here in the mid lane, if you leave EasyHoon around, then he's constantly chipping down this mid turret.
And I think Pawn was expecting a whole lot more action there in the mid lane as well. He's taken Cleanse, which is probably mainly for Tibbers, right? I mean, you can get rid of Hemo Plague, that's going to help a bit up there, but...
Wouldn't even remove that. It would remove the
Tibbers
slow from Rumble, the Ren slow.
No,
I mean, kind of like the last half second of it. Once you're off of it, it has a duration, but yeah, it's for the anti-Tibbers. He wants to make sure he doesn't get blown up by that. But no Ignite for kill pressure. There's only one Ignite even on the team against a Vladimir. And SKT able to use the battering ram AD carry to knock down top lane outer turret. So SKT 3 turrets to 1 here. Playing a very smart game.
This is an AD carry that we've been hyping this entire time as being one of the best in the world. That's down 55 CS as a matchup that they chose as well. I mean,
yeah. I mean, Kallista's a first pick worthy AD carry. She's known for her laning phase specifically. Bang's a great player, arguably the best AD carry in Korea right now. And, you know, it worked. The Kallista bullied the lane, and yeah, you know, whether you're deft or not, you're facing Bang's Kallista. Good luck with that, buddy.
yeah, and he got a very early kill at the same time.
True. Got first blood still lost.
Yeah. Very confusing prospect here, but we'll see how it does work out as we move forward. Tides of Blood starting to do some work now on Pawn here in the mid lane.
Yeah, the truly worrying thing is, as well, since Deft is so far behind, the attack damage threat for EDG is going to be really, really lacking. And just a little bit of magic resist picked up from SKT will be the only defensive stats they have to build. They can focus pretty much purely on offensive stats here and continue to snowball these early dragon fights.
And that's what this comp wants to do with Rumble Vladimir.
Yep, it's just getting better and better for SK Telecom, of course, as EasyHoon continues to scale up on Vladimir, and Kallista staying a few thousand gold up ahead of an enemy AD carry. You're always going to be doing sort of multiplicatively more damage over time until you cap out. So this slow growth is totally fine for SK Telecom.
EDG have to be very careful here. I think they bide their time, give away the next couple of dragons even. Well,
yeah, there's the Tibbers. Koro does get Mega Gnar, so he's a bit tankier. Nice dodge out of the way of the Fate's Call there as he takes a land to safety. That is a flashless Mega Gnar, and that is the most scared I've seen that monster be.
well, he should be.
Yeah.
Venturing too close to that territory around Dragon. SKT, you know they will be in position for this. And immediately picked up.
But that being said, I mean, it's only close to 2,000 gold, the lead here for SKT. EDG have been known to give up dragons. They don't really care that much about that objective, really. I mean,
Sure.
Of course, it still is a fantastic objective to have, but EDG have been known to win without it. But we'll see what they do. BF Sword now completed for Deft, so he at least has a bit of damage.
It's going to take a while for Trish to scale up, and this is not old Tristana. The hyper-scaling really not a hallmark of Triz. It's for the turret kills, and so far EDG have found very few. SK Telecom, I think still, they're happy to play a bit of a slower game. They're happy to play for that Dragon 5 and just continue to have wave control. EasyHoon is slowly knocking down this turret as the wards get better and better for the blue side. I mean, they're aware he's not going to die to clear left. Mid lane turret down to 1/3 health just from one-on-one matchups so far. SKT getting farther and farther ahead over time.
There's no burst damage from EDG. Vladimir thrives in this environment. Should be able to sustain himself against the tank line. Definitely.
Clearlove has had time to farm up his jungle, though. It's like a look back of old Clearlove here who just wants to be the agriculturalist, cleaning up every bit of farm possible.
That's such an optimistic way of looking at it.
Yeah, well, look, 20 CS in the lead. These are jungle camps as well, worth a little bit more.
He's got more money than Bengi, so I mean, that's at least working for him. But yeah, right now it's SKT with map control. That's a very big deal for these guys. Bang.
Couldn't juggle it.
Really the only good blue buff user on this team. Support Annie, not one to cast a lot of spells except in a team fight, so I guess this is the right choice.
And look at this as well. He knows that there's double massive tanks on the side of EDG. He's not building the Hurricane by the looks of things. He's going for what could arguably be a Shiv, yeah.
Yeah, this is how Bang plays it. He actually maxes Q first on Kallista. It gives him really good wave clear even without having to go for Hurricane because he can actually just crush the backline. Still gets the AD stat because she's a bit of a caster, and then into the more conventional AD carry auto attack build.
Yeah, and it works for the tank busting as well.
Yep, works just fine. He's going to be pretty happy. Callisto also a nice love with Static Shiv because of all the movement. You stack it up faster, a lot of good things there.
Plus, hey, the early magic resist that we're expecting from EasyHoon, he's finished his Abyssal Scepter. That's even going to help out with your Shiv damage a little.
So does Hemo playing. It's
so
more to the
smart.
AoE team. He's got Lightning, they've got Fire from 2 different champions.
Perfect.
The power of Blood.
All right,
Captain
that
Planet.
bottom.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this Captain Planet now? The Equalizer in the bottom lane, though. Koro looking to try and turn it around, of course.
Meganar, watch out, Marin.
Yeah, there it is. Marin into the wall. And Bengi's found his way in. Koro, he's going to get knocked up. Really wants to find the kill. The minions helping out just a little bit as Koro's just wandering around. There's the but doesn't get it as he gets burnt down by Marin.
The Marin baits so far. The first one didn't go so well, but that one was perfectly played because there was no clear love around this time. Another 2 versus 1 here, able to take down Koro.
Yeah, and it's
that,
like... Go ahead, sorry.
No, that just should mean that they can move on this mid lane here.
Play attempt for the member dead. Of course, teleport is still at Mako. Really wants this on EasyHoon, but EasyHoon still has all of his summoners. Flash comes in, the chain CC coming through. Ignite is on. Clearlove wants to finish off the kill, but EasyHoon's going to ghost away. There's a stun from Tibbers. The kill's not going to come through. That's another kill picked up. Now Def wants it, knocks it back, still can't get the kill. EasyHoon picks up one for the team. Edward Gaming starting to get sloppy.
Yeah, you don't know.
He was so hungry for that reset, though. It was so close. Just didn't get there. If that was a crit. Because he just finished his Infinity Edge. Unfortunate.
This is a team that's in a hole that's not supposed to take fights right now, unless you have a severe numbers and
Welcome
positioning
to
advantage.
China, Kirby. Welcome to China.
They had inklings of, rotating around the map, trying to trade objectives and grab gold in exchange for other objectives. But that teamfight win not only is it going to be the mid turret, but very easy Baron here for SKT, and that is heartbreaking for an EDG team that loves to go for those. All right, so here we go. Here's that initiation. So they were going to try and get this 3 versus 2. However, they did not have sufficient ward coverage. They've had no control of wards anywhere outside their own territory. And with SKT arriving for the defense here, pretty easy turnaround. EasyHoon had both summoners available for this fight, able to keep his distance, and then goes in for the last transfusion. Burn won't get him either.
Yeah. This is what happens when you don't have any items in your AD carry, and of course the magic resist stack kind of killing off most of the spell damage that Def had as well.
Yeah, and Bang now with that Shiv completed. Is it 2 items? There's a beautiful equalizer taking half of Mako's health. Pawn also falling. Chilling Smite onto Mako. He's going to die as Marin burns him down. And SKT just with so much control over this map. EDG, they can't enter their own jungle.
SKT just have a ridiculously strong mid game, and it doesn't look like they will give EDG the time that they need. With this Baron buff, let's see. Actually, Marin going to go back to base real quick. See if he teleports back out onto the field, because they have prime opportunity for pushing right now.
Yeah, still 50 CS the lead here for Bang, though. So Deft, I guess, keeping it relatively similar to how it's been, but that's a difficult tale to make sound good.
All right, so they're going to play it a little bit slow towards the mid game. They send Marin top, and they're just going to try and take this dragon without having to commit their teleport. They're hoping that the vision advantage that they have and the gold advantage will be enough to take a 5 versus 4 dragon and have that split pushing threat. But if EDG decide not to go to that area and head off Marin...
No, this is good. They can jump on him. Glacial Prison use. This is going to be almost for sure a kill. And with 4 members still top lane, they can maybe get even more off. This dragon is up, but SKT switch back to push down the mid lane, and Edward Gaming have to play to SKT's tune.
Yeah, Baron buff is going to help them take this one down. This inner turret is going to fall. Only Deft sort of hanging around with Mako. So Koro trying to do some extra work here on the top side of the map. But EDG, they get a kill. That is definitely something. And you've got to pick up all the positive things you can when you're falling this far behind.
Exactly. They're trying to make these trades. Even though they're so far behind and they have to take, slightly unfavorable trades, they're going to get a kill and they're going to get that top turret in exchange instead of getting nothing while losing the dragon and possibly losing their lives.
Both teams lose a tier 2 turret, but it's a dragon pickup for SKT. Number 3 for them versus a kill picked up for Edward Gaming. Bengi comes to the top side. Looks like he wants to push around Koro. And at least gets the Gromp for himself.
Yeah, Koro is going to be fine. Does have that Randuin's completed here as well. He's going to go back to base, and Bengi going to start off this blue buff, so he's going to reset just a little bit, but there are outer turrets to be taken, and Tristana takes turrets super fast. EDG just need to find a way to get to a turret.
Yeah, it's very difficult for them. I mean, the exchange rate for EDG when you're behind is very bad on these trades.
It's like they're stuck in the airport trying to turn in Korean won for US dollars, and it's just not happy for them. Now, unfortunately, the way the map is set up now, all the turrets that can be taken for Edward Gaming are on the bottom side of the map. Okay, there's a couple in mid, but it's that bot lane's available. Problem is, Tristana doesn't have teleport, and Baron's the next objective up right now. Right, Dragon's gone for 5 minutes. Baron is actually easily killed by SKT overall. And if you send Triss to bot lane, that means Baron's probably killed, and that's another bad exchange right here. So in terms of things EDG can even look for, it's a tough road ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking for Wolf to continue to control the vision leading up to the neutral objectives. Because anytime the EDG, when the EDG finally have to do commit and they step out to contest, that's where SKT can capitalize on that vision and blow that combo that we're looking for with the Annie into Vladimir Rumble.
Yo, yeah.
In a corridor.
Yep.
Tristana now does have 2-item power spike, so that is a thing. We've got Locket of the Iron Solari completed against double AP, which is huge as well. EDG, they have hit sort of an item timing that they're probably okay with at this stage, but they're still so far behind. We'll just see what they can do to try and claw their way back in, or whether SKT is just going to roll over the top. And you can see now pushing down this inner turret with impunity in the top side, and only Deft and Mako can't do much about this.
Yeah, 3 people top lane, now 4 as Rek'Sai comes on up. Of course, global TPs from their jungler and their top lane means they can have those guys split push. The other ones go and knock real structures down. Turret number 6 for SK Telecom T1. Edward Gaming, just all their lanes pushed in. Even if they wanted to trade objectives, all they'd get would be 2 minion waves.
And the only things that they have left to trade away are inhibitor turrets.
Yep.
You don't want to trade those. The exchange rate's too much for inhibitor turrets. Can't afford that. Thank you, though. Trying to take a raptor here from Clearlove, who says, come on, man. This is my jungle. Stop being mean.
Oh, Clearlove wins the smite more. Maybe an omen of things to come. Don't try Baron Bengi. It's too risky.
Dangerous times. EDG moving towards the top side of the map now as well. Clearlove already up there, wants to be able to clear out some of this farm for himself, but seems like things have slowed down just a little bit as Kara is going to get a little bit of aggression there on the bottom side, but nothing going to really come for it. Bengi looking for something. I don't know whether he wants to find enough.
Yeah. Well, definitely
does
got the
now. He was backing on a ward there as well as Wolf comes around, wants to find even more CC as Bang.
Ooh!
Yeah, cute little hop over the Gromp as Bengi trying to come through. There's in fact the Fate's call. They really want this kill as Kara. The Hex Trigger is popped. Nice to stop Bengi from getting anything going, but is he going to be okay? There's a Lantern ignored again, and Mako just wants his team to take one of his Dark Passages. Like, please, someone.
I love how you could just see Bengi getting frustrated. He was waiting for the hop, and he was like, come on, hop, then I'm going to jump, hop, then I'm going to tunnel in. And he was like, oh, you know what? Forget it. I'm going in. And finally, there goes the hop and the escape. But I think right now it's finally time for EDG. They kind of have to make a bush play. They need some surprise factor.
Well, they can surprise factor top lane inhibitor turret. The entire other team is on the bot side of the map, so Baron's not even a problem. In comes the push onto Marin. He's got the equalizer, but it's not going to hit Deft. Oh, maybe a premature ult, and Marin's going to survive it. Oh.
Explosive shot not quite doing enough damage as Bengi and Easyhoon looking for something. Preyseeker going to find Clearlove, but he's pretty tanky. Glacial Prison is down, so of course they do not want to turn.
And what is with Edward Gaming 80 carries and underperforming at big international tournaments?
Oh dear.
It's not a curse these guys want to have, but so far Deft, honestly hailed as the best 80 carry in the world. Not having a great game. It's just one that he's done poorly on, but still it's a player I think the team needed to step up here.
Don't take Tristana into Kalista. Don't give them Kalista.
Yeah,
it's supposed to do something that it just hasn't done this game. We haven't worked out yet.
It got first blood, and then it just failed to push turrets around. Just
I give, maybe I'm biased because I'm a jungler, but I give the credit for first blood to Clearlove. Capitalizing on no flash from coming over.
You mean like getting caught at level 1 and having full flash onto him?
Yeah, credit. Credit where credit's due.
Yep. I like it. I could almost argue that I'm good at League of Legends. Credit for being out of position. This is cool.
You're welcome, man.
Finally.
I've all planned after.
Finally, we have some neutral objectives here.
The Scuttle Crab.
That's the one.
That's the one. right.
Oh dear.
So here goes the vision battle. In preparation for that bait in for SKT. See how long they will fight the vision war before they can actually collapse. Big wave bottom, you'll notice. SKT have prepped this fight. It's about to crash into that inhibitor right now. Pings now finally go down for EDG. They realized it.
Well, they needed him to get ward control back. SKT, as soon as they realized that this Gnar is left, go right back in to get the wards back. SKT, again, not risking a 5v5 in open field, but a 5v4 they're happy with. Clear Love down a half HP already. They're going to continue the fight. Out goes the Lantern.
Yep, Len going to take him to safety, but that's a half-health jungler here in SKT. They could just get straight on the Baron. It's in fact already been started. Bang doesn't want to waste any time here. Does get knocked up super high into the air, but the Baron has a whole lot of arrows in it. They are going to peel off because EDG have found their way around. Clearlove decided he didn't want it back. Half health is enough. Oh, Myron actually looking to take something through. Oh my goodness, Pawn somehow surviving that, but not for long here as Bang's found him. There's Koro looking for something, does get the stun against the wall, but instantly QSS as Mako looking to try and catch onto Bangi, but not even sure whether he wants to do that one as EDG are just melting. Bang wants to find a way back into the team fight. Deft at half health. Koro, you are most definitely dead, and Deft forced to use the rocket jump very defensively. Clearlove surviving here for now, but that is 3 kills as EDG were trying to escape that whole time.
Impressive victory there for SKT, and that will be at least one inhibitor. See if they can actually retreat and grab a neutral objective after this.
There's 10 seconds on most of the respawns. Teleport is 20 seconds on Death Timer as well.
They don't
choose Dragon instead.
They don't quite decide to go for that Baron.
But this is 4th Dragon here as well. This is putting a timer on EDG. The 5th Dragon so incredibly strong.
But it puts an interesting timer on SKT as well. They're still rather low, and the big ultis for the team fight are down. Edward Gaming honestly have room to make a really risky Baron play. I don't think it would quite work, but SKT let the guys respawn, stay at low health, now are forced to recall. Edward Gaming gets about 30 seconds to get a bit of map control back. I think maybe try for something else.
I think the time is actually gone now. EDG is so split up right now. All SKT have to do is return to the Baron and again play the exact same vision game. Yeah. Only this time they have got super minions marching up mid, so it's much, much easier.
Yeah, their pink wards didn't even get cleared. There's still that pink on the Baron itself. No one from Edward Gaming was able to go down and get rid of it.
Clearlove still having a bit of fun here, but that's a Ravenous Death Cap here on Marin as well. He's got his Zhonya's. He doesn't have the Leandry's completed just yet, but he's got all the flat penetration. This is a terrifying Rumble. He does some serious damage.
Oh yeah, it's going to be absolutely brutal. SK Telecom can cut through all the magic resist one more time. SKT tries again. Come fight us at Baron. Trust me, it's going to be a whole bunch of fun. The ultis are all back up for SKT. Edward Gaming, in comes the teleport. They're going to have to try to stop this one. 5,000 health on the Baron. Koro jumps over the wall to get away, so Hop will be down for a few more seconds.
He has no rage here on this Naba here as well, but SKT not going to be able to start up too much of this fight. They don't have a whole lot of engage apart from Wolf. So the fact that he was trying to take down a ward meant that they weren't really able to do too much, but
EDG's in a good spot. They can clear the mid lane a wave, but of course, Marin is still pushing the bot lane in with teleport up.
Right, they were able to draw out the cooldown they were looking for with that Baron attempt. And so now they've got complete pressure on bottom lane, and nobody can go answer without recalling. So SKT keeping up the pressure in the mid lane.
Blink coming in from Marin as well.
Beautiful ultimate from Clearlove. Look at the equalizer in the backside though, on top of the Hemo Plague as well. This is what this comp's supposed to do.
Oh, wow.
SKT's doing triple kill for Easy Hoon. And SKT, they can win the game. That was stunning.
Zhonya's in pool, SKT is walking forward, surrender vote comes out, 33 minutes, 33 seconds, SK Telecom T1, 2-0 on the day so far.
That was just such beautiful play, and EDG, they just looked like they had no idea what to do against that comp at all from the word go, apart from sort of first blood, and then, oh wait, what do we do now?
I mean, a smart early move, got the first blood. They tried to get out of that matchup. They tried to get lane swap situations so that Gnar could more or less hold on to a 1v2 and Tristana could go knock turrets down. But SK Telecom T1 kept finding the matchup. They used the Callista Annie to completely brutalize that poor Tristana Thresh lane, and Deft never got off the ground, even though he learned rocket jump at level 1.
At the pro level, there's just so much pressure that comes from a Callista Annie lane.
Yeah.
Ridiculously hard to work around. It makes you have to make these really, really difficult choices.
Yeah, and the Tristana just didn't seem to do what it was supposed to do theoretically, that I'm still not entirely sure what that was.
I think it was supposed to be for a lane swap, and it didn't happen. You saw how hard these teams tried to match that, and I thought there were elements that were so good for EDG. Oh, Marin's TP is down, and they can swap the lanes early because there's so much push power on Tristana with explosive shot. Oh, this could be so good. And yet SKT, they took the licks. Okay, Marin, you lost a wave and a half. So what? These matchups are important. Props to Marin for doing well with the CS and a half a level disadvantage. And SKT just played the laning phase over and over and over again and accrued advantages.
Yeah, they just played it beautifully. And of course, EDG, not a whole lot they could do.
Bad matchups overall. Every Gaming looking for a lot of push power. Couldn't do it. Great team fights overall by SKT.
Yeah, but now we're going to hand it over to our panel of experts to break down that game.
Thank you, Atlas. Pretty solid game there for SKT. One half of the desk was correct here. Let's dive into it, though. Let's break down some pretty high-level play there by both teams.
Oh, I don't let Spawn off this easy. They're gonna get crushed. It's gonna be one-sided, huh?
Hey, I said it was gonna be one-sided.
You said EDG.
Do you have a moment to talk about the Church of Easy Hoon?
I'm not even gonna talk about that. I'm just gonna say that when we threw up yesterday, what the weakness of EDG was, if there could possibly be one, I said pick bans, and you guys all called me insane.
Yeah?
That was the worst pick ban phase I have seen coming through in a long time. I actually don't understand at what point of the game they thought their composition was stronger.
Yeah, I don't understand the Tristana at all.
Well, you could say that their comp was terrible, but the SKT composition was one of my favorite comps of all time. It's 5-threat composition. Each champion on that team is a huge threat to any team. You got knock-up CCs, a lot of damage, and a thing that goes unnoticed is the fact that these champions have really cheap power spikes. Rumble needs a Haunting Guys and a Sorcerer Shoes. Nar, on the other hand, you know, he might need a Warmogs, might need a Randuin's, maybe even a Maw. A Lulu, by the time that she finishes her Athene's Holy Grail and Deathcap, Vlad's already sitting at 3 items. His item spikes are Will of the Ancients, a Abyssal Scepter. It's really cheap, so they can fight really early. And Tristana needs 2 items, while Kalista only 1. Force these super early fights when EDG cannot even contest at all, and they try to contest, and look at what happened. They got rolled over.
Yeah, but that's not the EDG we're used to seeing. We've seen EDG fall so far behind. They'll give up 4 dragons. They'll give up the first Baron and then fight you at 45 minutes in the game. That EDG that we just saw then realized that their team comp got outclassed and they didn't pick for the late game. Jinx was available. Deft is, and I will stick by this. Bang had a fantastic game, but that is a game. Deft is still the premier AD carry, and if he was on Jinx, they at least have something to fall back on.
I feel like also that was a testament to how well Kalista was played in this game. Like, if anybody wants to learn Kalista, this is the game to look out for, and this is the player to look out for.
Yeah, Bang's Kalista is a little different than what we're seeing in NA, because what he does is he maxes Q first, and he's constantly throwing a Ren stack on a minion, possibly 2, queuing through it, and it does enough damage since he's maxing Q to go through it, and then it hits Deft over and over again, and then he just pops the Ren, and it's so much damage because of the damage of the spear on top of it. And we're seeing his lane partner, Annie, walk up, throw the stun, so he just basically lines it up so he can knock it down after, and he gets the Sentinel passive on top of it. It's really good because in NA, people are maxing E still and building Runaan's Hurricane. People eventually were like, all right, let's stop building Runaan's first, get a BF sword, but then they didn't adapt the skill order from swapping it over from E to Q. You should be maxing Q first if you're going for the BT.
Clearly a lot of passionate discussion to be had about this game. We'll get right back into it in just a moment. We've got Shox at the interview lounge for a word with a member of the victorious SKT.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm joined here by Bengi after that victory from SKT over EDG. Congratulations, Bengi. And we heard you saying in the features beforehand that you were very excited to go up against Clearlove and respect him very much. Do you think that you were able to pressure him out in this game, that you had a better game plan and a better game?
그 예전 인터뷰 때 클리어러브 선수를 되게 존경하고 선수로서 되게 존중한다고 말씀하셨었는데 네. 어떻게 이번 경기 때 본인이 좀 더 좋은 활약을 펼쳤다고 생각하시나요?
일단 제가 뭐 그렇게 활약한 것 같진 않고 이번 판에 팀원들이 잘해서 제가 활약할 수 있었는데 탑에서 그 기회를 놓친 것 같아서 아쉬워요.
I think we won this game because of my teammates. I had my chance at top, but I kind of blew it. But overall, I want to thank my teammates for the win.
Yeah, you guys all played very well together. after the finals where Tom did so good for you guys for SKT, how did that affect your mindset coming in and then ending up being selected for this tournament with all the experience that you have?
그 MSI 오기 전에 롤챔스 결승전 때 톰 선수가 되게 좋은 활약을 펼쳤었는데요. 근데 톰 선수의 활약 보면서 좀 MSI에 올 때 좀 동기부여 됐었는지 좀 물어보고 싶네요. 네.
질문 다시요.
톰 선수의 활약 보면서 MSI 올 때 좀 본인에게 동기부여가 됐었는지.
일단 결승전을 올라갔는데 경기를 못 뛴 거에 대한 약간 아쉬움이 좀 커서 이번 MSI에 좀 좋은 모습을 보여줘야 될 것 같다는 동기부여는 됐는데 그래도 여전히 아쉽네요. 결승전에 못 뛴 거.
I was motivated by Tom's play during the LCK finals, but I still hope that I could have had my chance at the LCK finals. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you've definitely shown what you're worth here already. 2-0 for SKT today, and you guys are still playing TSM in the last game of the day in front of their home crowd favorites. After what you've seen from TSM today, how big of a chance do you give them that they can beat you?
이제 오늘 마지막 경기로 TSM과의 경기가 남았는데요. 또 오늘 TSM의 경기력 봤을 때 TSM이 SKT1 팀을 어떻게 이길 수 있을 것 같으세요?
일단 저희 오늘 일단 분위기가 좋아서 TSM도 잘하는 팀이라 질 수도 있지만 지금 분위기로는 잘 할 수 있을 거라 생각합니다.
I think our team is playing great today. Even though TSM is a really good team, today I think we have an upper hand.
Today they have the upper hand. We will see that as the last game of the day. Thank you very much, and we're going to move back over to Dash over at the desk.
Thank you, Shaks. Now, there was a lot of discussion about which substitutes SKT should be bringing along to MSI. So, Irene, I want to hit you up for your thoughts on that.
Yeah, at first I was really surprised that they were going to bring Bengi, considering the 3-0 performance that we saw Tom have alongside Easyhoon in the LCK finals. I thought it was actually kind of short-sighted to bring Bengi instead of Tom, because I thought Tom needed the international experience before Worlds if they were actually like being full on with that commitment to bring him into the team. But then Bengi's been stepping up here. Bengi's been showing that his Rek'Sai is still very relevant on the Cinderhulk patch, and he's able to make these aggressive moves and carry, even be relevant in the late game. So I think that I have to rethink my entire thought process behind that, because Tom, he does have some tilty moments, and I think that Bengi being able to keep his cool, it shows that they brought him because they're here to win this. They aren't here to give Tom experience. They're here to win this tournament.
I think you also have to rethink that Easyhoon is pretty damn
good. Dude, he didn't
this
die.
Guy is very good. He's very good. And this plays into what I want to go into next, which is that even with this organization having multiple subs and therefore many different rosters that they can throw onto the field, they seem to have pretty stellar communication. These guys do not miss a beat no matter who they're playing. With that, I want to jump into our replay of the final fight of the match. Sheepy, take it away, because this was them pivoting on a dime.
I think this was such a strong team fight. Wolf is going in, hitting 2 people with his ultimate. And what you can see here as well is that he's standing so much in front, and Rumble, perfect follow-up, and then the ultimate from Kalista, that is just such an on-point communication. And they had so much pressure, and then was Bang coming in, slowly putting more and more pressure, and EDG is still all alive, and then everyone just dies.
That was the orbital ion cannon from off-screen.
Yeah, you have to note, this is a composition that can eliminate the backline without even looking at it. An equalizer with a Vladimir ulti immediately gets the backline out of the fight. Tristana has to rocket jump away. Lulu has to get out of there because she's cooking up. And they didn't even use spells on them when they died.
I want to get Spawn in here on this one here.
I just want to point out, the entirety of that fight, Deft is free hitting and doing nothing. He was an absolute non-factor in that whole fight. And I definitely agree with you guys. It was well coordinated, well set up. But by that time, the game had kind of already ran away with itself. They could have probably whiffed the equalizer. Vlad ulted no one, and Easyhoon still would have cleaned up the rest of the fight. The communication's on point, but EDG need to fix their early game.
Well, but that's interesting you point out the early game, because we saw EDG capitalize on the blown flashes with the visits to the top lane. It was the bottom players, the bottom lane support and AD carry, to capitalize on flashes. So they were putting a lot of pressure on the map with that Sejuani, but even so, didn't equate to an early enough lead given the CS disadvantage between the AD carries.
I feel like EDG played a really good early game, visiting the top lane and getting the first blood there. And I really liked as well how it was following up afterwards. What was happening was Koro was getting a lead over Marin, and Bang was getting a lead over Def, both around 10 to 15 to 20 CS. And then you just had the game going 2 versus 2, 1 versus 1. SKT actually initiating lane swaps afterwards. And what happened after 18 minutes was that Koro was still with a 15 CS lead, but Bang was actually 45 CS ahead, and Def was so far behind that he was a non-factor.
You know,
Yeah. And you talked about the very, very early part where they got the kill top. Then they followed all the way through the jungle. Bengi's looking at the blue. He got screwed early game. They're like, we're showing up at your red. He was able to smite it away, and EasyHoon's ghost on the Vladimir really picked them up and into that fight. And I thought that was just kind of a misplay there by EDG, because they had an advantage that they didn't push.
Well, we'll definitely be looking for EDG to step it up individually, because that's what we gave them so much praise for going into this tournament. But SKT, a solid display from a team standpoint, team play standpoint, and as you mentioned, of course, Bang's Callista being absolutely stellar. And that's going to do it here for this game. Don't touch that browser. When we return, we'll dive into our 7th match, which pits AHQ against Besiktas Esports Club. The action continues in just a few minutes.
This is the matchup we finally get to see. #1 China versus #1 Korea.
Oh,
Level
there's
one
the
rocket jump.
Aggressive play. Beautiful play back here as well. Wolf going down solo. He's burning burst blood.
That's another kill picked up. Now Def wants it, knocks it back, still can't get the kill. EasyHoon picks up one for the team.
As Mako looking to try and catch onto Bangi, but he's not even sure whether he wants to do that one, as EDG are just melting Bang. Beautiful ultimate from Clearlove. Look at the equalizer in the backside though, on top of the Hemo Plague as well. This is what this comp's supposed to do.
SK Telecom T1, 2-0 on the day so far.